Shraddha Tray Vibhag Yoga, the divisions of faith. Atata Saptadasho Adhyay. Text 1. Arjuna Vacha Ye Shastra Vidhim Utsrijya Yajante Shraddhayanvita Tesham Nishtha Tutka Krishna Sattvam Aho Rajastamaha.
Arjun inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scripture but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance?
Text 2. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Trividha Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Svabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shrinu.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds, in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this.
Text 3. Sattvanurupa sarvasya Shraddha bhavati bharata Shraddhamayo yam purusho yo yat Shraddha saeva saha.
O son of Bharat, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired.
Text 4. Yajante sadvika devan yaksha rakshamsi rajasa Pretan bhuta ganamschanye yajante tamasa jana.
Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits.
Text 5 to 6. Ashastra vihitam ghoram tapyante ye tapojana dambha hankara samyuktaha kamaraga balanvita karshayanta sharirastham bhutagramam achetasaha mam chaivanta sharirastham tan vidya sura nishchayan.
Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish, and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons.
Text 7. Aharastvapi sarvasya trividho bhavati priyaha yagyastapastatha danam tesham bhedam imam shrinu.
Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now hear of the distinction between them.
Text 8. Ayuh sattva balarogya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasya snigdha sthira hritya ahara sattvika priyaha.
Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart.
Text 9. Katvam lalavannatyushna tikshna ruksha vidhaniha ahara rajasasyetshta dukkha shokamaya prada.
Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease.
Text 9. Katvam Yatayamam katarasam puti पर्युषितं च यत् उच्छिष्टम् अपि च मेध्यं भोजनं तामसप्रियम्.
Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness.
Text 11. अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्यज्ञो विधिदिष्टो य इच्छति यष्टव्यम् इविति मनः समाधाय स सात्विकः.
Of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to the direction of Scripture as matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness.
Text 12. अभिसन्धाय तु फलं दम्भार्थम् अपि चैव तत् इच्छते भरतश्रेष्ठ तं यज्ञं विधिराजसम्.
But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of Bharata, you should know to be in the mode of passion.
Text 13. Vidhihinam asrishtanam mantrahinam adakshinam shraddha viharitam yagyam tamasam parichakshate.
Any sacrifice performed without regard for the direction of Scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remuneration to the priests, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance.
Text 14. Devadvija Guru Pragya Pujanam Shocha Marjavam Brahmacharya Mahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate.
Austerity of body consists in worship of Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence.
Text 15. Anudvega Karam Vakyam Satyam Priya Hitam Chayat Swadhyabhya Vyasanam Chaiva Vanmayam Tapa Uchyate.
Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature.
Text 16. Manaha prasada saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhirityetat tapomana samuchyate.
And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerity of the mind.
Text 17. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastatrividham narai afalakankshibhir yuktai sadvikam parichakshate.
This threefold austerity, performed with transcendental faith by men not expecting material benefits, but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme, is called austerity in goodness.
Text 18. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaivayat kriyate tad iha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam.
Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent.
Text 19. Mudhagrahinatmano yat vidaya kriyate tapaha parasyotsādanārtham vā tat tamasam udaritam.
Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Text 20. Datavyam iti yad danam diyate nupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha tad danam satvikam smritam.
Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness.
Text 21. Yattu pratyupakarartham phalam udishya va punaha diyate cha pariklishtam taddanam rajasam smritam.
But charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion.
Text 22. Adesha kale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkritam avagyatam tattamasam udaritam.
And charity performed at an impure place at an improper time to unworthy persons or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Text 23. Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho brahmanastri vidha smritaha brahmanastena vedascha yagyascha vihita pura.
From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during the sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme.
Text 24. Tasmadom iti udaritya yagyadana tapakriyaha pravartante vidhanokta satatam brahma vadinam.
Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performance of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulations begin always with Om to attain the Supreme.
Text 25. Tat iti anabhisandhaya phalam yagya tapakriyaha dana kriyascha vividha kriyante moksha kankshibhi.
Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement.
Text 26 to 27. Sadbhave sadhu bhave cha sad iti etat paryujyate prashaste karmani tatha satchapta patayujyate yagye tapasi dane cha sthiti sad iti chochate karma chaiva tadarthiyam sad iti eva vidhiyate.
The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pritha.
Text 28. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asad iti uchyate partha nachatat pretyayo no iha.
Anything done, sorry.
Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Shraddha Vibhag Yoganam Saptadasho Adhyaya Ki Jai.
Anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and in the next. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hari Bol. Amazing. Vrinda Devi Mataji, your pronunciation was absolutely perfect. You know, a lot
Thank
of people.
you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Just out of interest, were you reading from the Sanskrit text or were you reading from the English?
From the English, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's very unusual because when we all read, not just people, all of us, when we read from the English, sometimes we make a mistake with the R and you know. Sadbhave, Sadbhave, like that. But I was following this, and your pronunciation was absolutely perfect throughout. So very, very
Hare
well done.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. And
Hare-
Hema Mataji, as usual, very eloquent, very, very clear English with the citation. Thank you so much, both of you. Very well. Okay, let me just share my PowerPoint now. Okay, so we are really almost to the end of the chapter 17, Divisions of Faith. We are on the penultimate text today. We will just go to the summary as usual. Chapter summary, just to remind ourselves where we were. So 17:1 to 7, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna's question. To Arjuna's question, he's answering about, well, what happens to people who are worshipping but not following a particular, not following Shastra. So he's explaining that the modes determine one's faith and one's worship. Then 8 to 10, Krishna speaks about the foods in the modes. 11 to 13, sacrifices in the modes. Then 14 to 19 speaks about austerity in the modes. And then 20 to 22, the charity in the modes. And then 23 to 28, the last section, he's talking about this amazing phrase, Om Tat Sat. So we will go to today's verse. And yeah, we start with the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, text 26 and 27. Sadbhave sadhubhave cha sat iti etat prayujate Pashaste karmani tatha satshabda partha yujyate yagye tapassi dane cha sthiti satiti chosyate karma chaiva tadarthiyam sat iti eva vidhyate. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O Son of Pritha. So we'll go straight to the purport, and I'll request, let's see who's there, 1 second. Here. So let's see. Jolly Mataji, maybe you can read the purport for us.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Perfect. Julie Mataji, you muted yourself
Yes,
again?
yes, yes.
Okay.
The words prasante karmani, or prescribed duties, indicate that there are many activities prescribed in the Vedic literature which are purificatory processes, beginning from the time of conception up to the end of one's life. Such purificatory processes are adopted for the ultimate liberation of the living entity. In all such activities, it is recommended that one vibrate Om Tat Sat. The words Sat Bhave and Sadhu Bhave indicate the transcendental situation. Acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva, and one who is fully conscious of the activities of Krishna consciousness is called a sadhu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25, it is said that the transcendental subject matter becomes clear in the association of the devotees. The words used are satam prasangat. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. When initiating a person or offering the sacred thread, one vibrates the words Om Tat Sat. Similarly, in all kinds of performance of yajna, the object is the supreme, Om Tat Sat. The word Tad Atherium further means offering service to anything which represents the supreme, including such service as cooking and helping in the Lord's temple, or any other kind of work for broadcasting the glories of the Lord. These supreme words, Om Tat Sat, are those used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Jyoti Mataji. Very nicely read. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Tishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Tishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashyatya Deshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Very interesting verse, actually very interesting set of verses. The last three verses are very, very interesting. And the purport here is very, very interesting. So we'll now just dive a little bit deeper into this. So as usual, just look at the main points. But what I want to do is just perhaps just go back and the last 2 days, we can just summarize just what the meaning of the words were. So what was the text 23 spoke about Om. What was the meaning of Om as explained by Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu so nicely?
It was Krishna.
Hare Krishna, anybody?
Krishna.
Om means Krishna. Om is Krishna.
Om is
Om is
Krishna,
Krishna.
yes. Om is, yes, exactly. Om indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the absolute truth, of course, and it's Krishna for us. Now, you will find many places, certainly nowadays, if you Google and go on the net, you will find many people explaining Om as the impersonal Brahmajyoti. They said that is what Om represents. But for Vaishnavas, Om actually represents Krishna himself. So that's whenever we chant Om, it's Krishna, because in the 8th chapter, 7th chapter, text 8, Krishna says, I am the Omkara in all the Vedic hymns, Pranava. So that's Krishna. So we see him completely as a person, not as Brahmajyoti. Then 24, was it 26? So maybe it was 24 and 25. I may have got my verses wrong.
25, yeah.
Yeah, so 25 says Tat. And that?
Is that freedom from material entanglement?
Freedom for, yeah, that could be true as well. But Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu gave a fantastic realization after referring to Jiva Goswami's Tippani.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Krishna's
It is.
servant.
Yes,
Sorry.
very
It's a
Yeah.
servant
This-
for you.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I am. So you see again for tat, you will find so tat literally actually tat means that, right? So people will have different meanings, but actually from a devotee's point of view, this is such a beautiful meaning that I am the eternal service of the Lord. So this is very nicely explained. So we know now when we say Om Tat, we are saying Krishna, I am your eternal servant. And then Sat is now. So let's study Sat and see what we can make of it. So in the text itself, the first line is the absolute truth is the objective of devotional service, and it is indicated by the word Sat. So you can see it's the objective. So Sat is the objective of us serving Krishna. If you look at it that way, you go backwards, Sat, take it as an objective or a goal, and then you go to Tat, which is serving Krishna, serving, and Tat is the Supreme Lord. So then it says the performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat. So the activity itself as well as the performer, both we can say are Sat. Then it says that as are all works of sacrifice, penance, charity, which true to their absolute nature are performed to please the Supreme Person. So again, very key words here. So the activity itself, the performer, and everything else is there, and then Sat is the objective, and that is specifically that objective is to please the Supreme Lord. So the goal is like that. So we can see it in the three divisions, like they show in the Vedas. As we know, Sambandha. What are the other two?
Avideya and Prayojana.
Adire.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sambandha Abhideya. So here, if now we know the meanings of Om Tat Sat. So Om is Supreme Personality Godhead. Tat is I'm eternal server, and Sat is the goal to please Him, right? So which is Sambandha?
And there is Om, Om,
Yes,
isn't it? You get
correct.
to know
Om,
him.
yes, thank you. Om is a Sambandha because this is where we know the Supreme Personality. We understand Krishna as a Supreme Personality Godhead, and we want to know about Him. So that is Sambandha. And then Tat,
Avideya.
Abhideya,
Abhideya.
exactly. Because Tat is the activity, what we do.
Yes.
So
Abhideya.
Abhideya is that we are His servants and we serve Him. And then Prayojana, which means the goal, which is
Che-
no Sat in this case.
Sat, Sat, Sat.
Yes. Yeah.
Adibhuta.
Exactly. So that means Prayojana, which means the goal. Sat means our goal, our objective, which is to please the Supreme Person. So this now completes the explanation of this term Satchitanand in such a beautiful way. So whenever now we see Satchitanand, Prabhupada ends his letters often with Satchitanand. Prabhupada, of course, ends his introduction and preface in the various books with Om Tat Sat. So Om Tat Sat, Prabhupada is actually giving himself to the Lord, and he's saying, I'm doing this as a service to you, and my goal is to please you. So it's such a nice term. So I put this verse here. I'm trying to remember why I put this verse here. Okay, yes, to please, yeah. So this last line where it says everything is performed to please the Supreme Lord. So that brought to mind this one of the verses from Bhagavatam 1-13. Anybody know this verse? Very, very famous verse. I'm sure you will see it when you know it. Ata pumbe dvija shrestha varanashram vibhagasha swanuthistasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam.
Yes, Ivesha.
Haritoshanam means to please the Lord. Here's a translation. They're all best among twice born. So dvija means twice born, and shrestha is the best, or best among twice born. And therefore, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste, divisions, and orders of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some said there Hari Toshanam. So this sort of completes that explanation. So yeah, know the Lord, serve Him with love, and perform all activities to please Him. Word Sat is also, I suppose, Sat. You can say it when we talk about Satchidananda. Sat is eternal, right? Sat, so Sat is used that way as well. Sat is also, sometimes people say anything related to devotional service is Sat. Anything related to Krishna is Sat. Sat can be also good or auspicious. So for example, when we say Sat Karma, people say Sat Karma. So Sat Karma would mean auspicious activities or good activities. We say Sat Buddhi again, meaning good intelligence. What else?
Satsang.
Satsang, very good. Yes, satsang. That's all exactly. It's exactly what we are all doing here. Satsang. Sat meaning also devotees, pure devotees. So by taking association of pure devotees like all of you, that is satsang. Sangha means to get together or to meet with Sat. So
Satkarma?
Satkarma, again, exactly. Satkarma. Satkarma, which we spoke about here already. Satkarma means doing good activities. So yeah, so Sat has got all these broader meanings, but in this particular phrase, Om Tat Sat, Sat actually means to have the objective to please the Lord. So our whole aim of our life should be to please the Lord. Anything that we do, from waking up in the morning to going to bed, we must think, how am I, what am I doing? And if I'm, whatever am I doing, how is it pleasing the Lord? Imagine if you had that yardstick, that barometer always with us, we would never go wrong, because we will never be able to do something that will displease Krishna. So such a nice meditation to have throughout our day. What am I doing? Is this pleasing Krishna? So moving on. So we just see some more explanations about Sat from different acharyas. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he's saying, his explanation about the verse 26, he says, because the word Sat indicating Brahman, of course, Brahman here, we take Brahman as, see, Brahman can be Brahmajyoti, Brahman can be Paramatma, Brahman can also be Supreme. But for us, it's the Supreme Lord, the personal feature. So because the word Sat indicating Brahman is present in the most auspicious things, it should be used in all auspicious activities, whether material or spiritual. That is explained in these two verses. The word Sat indicates Brahman, Sat Bhave, and seekers of Brahman, Sadhu Bhave. Then 27, it says Sat is situated, situated means sthiti, in sacrifice and other works, by being the goal, as we were saying, of these works. Any work suitable for serving Brahman, tad arthiyam, such as cleaning the temple, clean the Lord's temple, and so on, is called Sat. So all activities we're doing for the Lord is called Sat. If the ladies, you're all cooking in the kitchen to offer to Lord, that's Sat. Not just that, when you go out shopping, well, nowadays maybe just online, home delivery, whatever. All that activity is Sat, because we are buying the bhoga to prepare food stuff for Krishna. So yeah, so this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Then we have a look at Madhvacharya. Again, he gives a nice commentary on this. So maybe we get somebody to read this. Okay, I've got Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, are you there? Maybe you can read this purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, commentary by Sri Madhvacharya. The word Sat denotes creation and eternal goodness. The pranav refers to the first breath Om, which is vibrated at the commencement of all Vedic rites from the root word prana, meaning breath, prana. Properly pronouncing the pranav Om as Ahu, Aum, while comprehensively understand its meaning without the slightest desire for rewards, by performing yagnas or propitiation and worship to the Supreme Lord with devotion, and tapa or austerities, and dhanam or charity as a matter of duty, by japa chanting the holy names of the Supreme Lord Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, with great respect and love, as well as the names of any of his authorized incarnations and expansions as revealed in Vedic scriptures, are all considered Sat. The Rig Veda confirms that yagnas that are performed for the exclusive satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, without the slightest trace for expectation of rewards, and are designated Om Tat Sat. The Vedas call these three divine sounds the performers of Vedic rites due to the fact that the potency of vibrating Om Tat Sat perfects any defects, ensures success, and pleases the Supreme Lord, granting communion with him.
Thank you very much, Chaitanya
Thank you
Prabhu.
so much.
Thank you. So you can see here Madhvacharya expanding on the same theme, but what a more element is adding here is without the slightest desire for rewards. So, activities we do for Krishna should be in that mood again. No reward for us. We're doing this, Krishna, simply to please you, nothing for me, all for you. Not a little bit for you, Krishna, and nowadays most of us, we're doing this like 20% for you, 80% for me, that kind of thing. No, everything for you, Krishna. Nothing else. Prabhupada uses these old words, propitiation. What's it? Propitiation. Propitiation. Propitiation is a word that is not used so much nowadays, but basically I looked it up. It means appeasing or glorifying. So when we glorify the Lord, that is propitiation. So it's different from worship, because I used to before think that propitiation actually is another word for worship. But the distinction is that worship, of course, is worship in different ways. But propitiation specifically means glorifying. So yes, so the extra and he adds at the end here that this Om Tat Sat ensures success and pleases the Supreme Lord, granting communion with him, meaning we get eventually our place back in the back to Godhead with him. And then let's see who else I picked up. Then Sridhar Swami. Oh, by the way, here the word here I didn't put down the marks, but it's not Madhvacharya, because we have two. We have Madhvacharya, and this is Madhvacharya without the mark on the A. So it's Madhvacharya, who is the head. So our sampradaya is called Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So this is Madhva from that Madhvacharya, not Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya, who is the spiritual master of Ishwarapuri. So, so this is Madhvacharya, just clarification there. Then Sridhar Swami, again, there's a nice commentary he gives, and let's see who I've got here. Okay, Ilaben, are you able to unmute yourself and read this?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commentary by Sri Sridhara Swami. The auspiciousness of the word Sat is being glorified by the Lord Krishna. Sat is the sound, vibration representing the Brahman or spiritual substratum pervading all existence and to exemplify eternal goodness and the purity of creation. For any Vedic rite enjoined to be performed under the ordinances and injunctions of the Vedic scriptures by authorized Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. Sat will also be vibrated in conjunction with Om and Tat. Steadiness and concentration in yagnas or propitiation and worship is also deemed as Sat. Or activities directly performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, such as collection of articles for offering like ghee or clarified butter from a cow, sweeping and cleaning the temple of the Supreme Lord, singing devotional songs in the glorification of Supreme Lord, making flower garlands for Lord Krishna or any authorized incarnation and expansion as revealed in Vedic scriptures, etc. All these direct activities are deemed as Sat. Even indirect activities that assist in accomplishing the direct activities such as establishing flower gardens and agriculture fields, harvesting fruits, rice and grains, acquiring wealth to be donated to the Vaishnava Brahmana, devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. All these indirect activities are also deemed to be Sat.
Thank you so much, Ira Mataji. Thank you. So here you can see he is giving us the broader meaning about Sat, eternal goodness and purity of creation. Then also one other element, just basically Sat, he also denotes the steadiness and concentration in yagyas and worship and propitiation. And then direct and indirect, all activities are deemed to be Sat. Just confirming that point. So we'll now go on to some parts of the purport. Prabhupada says the words Prashaste Karmani, or prescribed duties, indicate that there are many activities prescribed in Vedic literature which are purificatory processes, beginning from the time of conception up to the end of one's life. So there are actually many different yagyas or purification processes, maybe hundreds actually. Prabhupada generally in his books will mention the top important 10. So we will quickly have a look at those and say, so the first one actually is Garbhadan. Anybody can tell me what Garbhadan Sanskar is?
Is it when the mother conceived?
Yes, before, in fact, not when, but before. Because this is actually a ceremony that is done when they are planning. So at that time, they perform this very important sanskar, which gives purity of mind to both the husband and wife. And then they, through that yagya, they are praying and hopefully receiving the benediction for a good Krishna conscious child. So this system is no more valid, no more practice, unfortunately, but this is something which is very important. Then Jata Karma. Anybody? So that's Jata refers to birth, so birth ceremony. So at the time of birth, there is a ceremony done. And this Jata ceremony in the previous days, what they used to do, they used to actually then the priest or pandit would actually do the kundali at that time, right? And this Jata Karma, so it is said that when Prabhupada's Jata Karma was done, Prabhupada mentions at some places that when the pandit did his horoscope for the kundali, he say at that time he actually read that this boy, at the age of 70, he will cross the ocean to preach overseas, and he will open hundreds of temples. So this was actually in his Jataka. So imagine how accurate these things were. Now, see, the thing is, in those days, we had these very, very expert panditas. Nowadays, they don't even exist. But that was Jatakarma. Then Namakarna.
When they do
After
the
child
ceremony.
in the name ceremony.
Name ceremony, exactly. That I think that mostly all of us do. Most Hindu places, when the people will have some kind of a ceremony, name ceremony will happen. Then Anna Prasanna.
Yeah, when they have first grain.
First,
Yes, exactly. First solid food, exactly. Then Karna Veda.
Is that the thread? No.
Ear piercing, very good.
Ear
Yes, ear piercing, very good. And then Chura Karma.
The getting the hair off. It's
Yes, head shaving. Vidya Arambha.
Hate kori.
studies,
Call it
uh,
hate kori.
yeah, it is writing or read it like that.
Yeah,
Writing.
beginning of education, commencement of
Yeah, the
education.
age 5 they start. You know.
Yeah, so this is when before they get start their formal education. Then Upannayan, this we should all know.
Yeah, that's the thread. Thread. ceremony.
Yes, sacred thread ceremony. Here there's an ISKCON ceremony going on, a Brahmin ceremony. Then next one is, of course, this everybody knows, Vivaha. That is the only one that we maintain actually. You can imagine everything else we've given up. This one we're maintaining, thankfully. And then last one, Anyeshti. What does it mean?
Is that the last rite?
Yeah, last rites, exactly. The funeral or last rites. It's also called Antim Sanskara. So these are the samskaras that Prabhupada mainly speaks about. And then in the purport, Prabhupada says, such purificative processes are adopted for the ultimate liberation of the living entity. In all such activities, it is recommended that one vibrate Om Tat Sat. Let's see what I've got. So then in the purport, Prabhupada mentions this beautiful verse, 325-25. He just mentions the number and just a couple of words from the verse. Anybody know this verse?
Is that the one when Kapila Devi is speaking to Devahuti?
Yes, exactly. That's correct. And this verse,
Satam prasangama
yes,
Devam.
Veera samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayana kataha. Something like that.
very good, very good. You got it. Fantastic. I've used this. This was our memory verse, so I know I've learned this, and I've used it a few times in our classes. So satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayana katha taljoshana swapavargavatmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukamishyati. Very, very nice verse. So Prabhupada is mentioning here because of this word association of devotees, satsanga. So in association of pure devotees, which here it's actually written satam prasangan, which is the same thing. Satam refers to pure devotees, and prasangan means meeting, satsanga, same. So in association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes of and the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. So hit karana rasayana. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually makes advancements on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. So then Prabhupada rounds off, he said the words used are satam prasanga. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. So association is very, very important. Association, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says in Madhya Lila, I forget the verse number, with Asat Sangatyag, Ei Vaishnav Achar. So the sign of a good Vaishnav is that he has given up bad association, because bad association will drag us down. There are many, many examples in Shastra where bad association will drag us down very quickly. It takes a lot of effort to rise in spiritual life, but it will take one incident with bad association and we will drop. There's a very famous pastime in Chaitanya Lila when he's doing his tour for South India. If you remember, he toured South India for 6 years, and one devotee was sent to assist him, to just look after, be with him, and his name was Kala Krishna. Yes, and because he saw, can you imagine, all of us, we are so far away from the Lord. This Kala Krishna Das actually was with the Lord. He was actually day and night with the Lord, and still he fell down with those Bhattacharis, right? So that example, we won't have time to go through it in deep, but the point is here, all that is actually done as a pastime to teach us a lesson, that if Kala Krishna Das, being right with Krishna himself, could not stop himself, so what is our situation? So this is why we have to be very, very careful about bad association. So Then Prabhupada says the word tadarthyam further means offering service to anything which represents the Supreme, including such service as cooking and helping in Lord's temple or any other kind of work for broadcasting the glories. So yes, this also has been covered by the previous acharyas. We already spoke about it. The famous verse, anything we do we must do for Krishna. Anybody know this verse? Yat karoshi.
Yeah, yet Karush.
Yat karoshi, yat dashnasi, yat juhasi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Right? And then let's see what I've got. So these, Prabhupada concludes his purport by these beautiful words. These supreme words, Om Tat Sat, are thus used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. So this ends this beautiful section of this chapter, giving us a lot of hope and giving us direct, practical way to perfect our lives. So, you know, devotees, one point I will make is that generally speaking, as you know, we don't hear devotees, we don't sort of hear devotees say Om Tat Sat so often. Prabhupada writes it at the end of his letters, but you will not hear devotees chanting it or even mentioning it so much. So, but the point here is it is there, but for us, the Hare Krishna mantra is everything. Hare Krishna mantra includes Om, it includes Tat, it includes Sat. So this is why we don't specifically need to focus, but at least we know now, when somebody else mentions Om Tat Sat, we actually know exactly what it means. So that's the point. And of course, whatever we do it with the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, as one of the acharyas mentioned there, and that makes everything perfect for us, because Om Tat Sat is fully included in the Hare Krishna mantra. So thank you, devotees. Thank you so much for being here today and giving me a chance to glorify this wonderful part of the Gita. I will just open for any comments, any realizations, questions, corrections.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I'm just so glad that you connected it to Sambandha, Abhiday, and Prayojana, and it's so helpful for us to understand it like that.
Yes.
Because we are familiar with the other three, but I wasn't familiar with the correlation with Om Tat Sat. So it's very, very useful. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
So it's more practical for us.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So it's okay if we are starting to do an auspicious thing, or you can just say Om Tat Sat, can't you?
Yes, absolutely. There is no harm saying it. Exactly. But not in instead of Hare Krishna. We share that and Hare Krishna both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Let's see if there's any questions on chat. 1 second. No questions on chat yet.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Jolly Mataji.
In the last verse, you mentioned about, well, it is written down in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Anything you eat, anything you drink, anything you offer as charity, whatever. But when you're out and sometimes you eat something that's not prasadam, not being, it's boga sometimes. How is that acceptable? Is it only for devotees that or you could be for anybody, anything you eat?
No, so that's a nice question, Jolly Mataji. That's a very practical question. We all come to that situation. So first of all, it's a question of different levels of our own sadhana and where we want to be. So if we think about the highest level of sadhana, I will give you the example of Mother Kalangna. So she had, of course, from everybody I know so far, she had the highest level of sadhana. Mother Kalangna would not put anything in her mouth which was not offered to Krishna. Not only that, she would not put anything in her mouth which has been made by non-devotees. And that includes, like, sometimes, when we try, I always travel a lot in my business. So I used to carry cereal bars with me because they're safe. If you go somewhere and you can't find good vegetarian food, I just go back to my hotel room and I would just eat, have a glass of milk and some cereal bars. But her standard was so high that she would not even have that. Right? So that is that very high standard. But then, of course, we have to be practical. So then you can sort of get lower and lower, and then sort of you get a situation where in a practical situation where devotees are out and about, you're working, you don't have always the option to offer because you don't have the altar there. So first thing to do is, even if you got something from the outside, of course, we make sure that it's got no eggs or no animal products in that. That, of course, goes without saying. Secondly, say a bag of crisps that you have bought. So it's all completely vegetarian, everything is pure, but it's not been made by a devotee, and it's not. So what I would do is I would mentally, in Manasi, I would offer it to Krishna. I would offer it to Krishna with an apology, saying that, Krishna, I know that this is not ideal thing that I should be offering to you. But Krishna, I'm here in the middle of nowhere and I'm a little bit hungry. I'm going to have this crisp. Please forgive me and bless this food. So this is how you do that.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any other angle on that?
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Mukunda,
Palika
Hare
Mataji.
I mean, from the supermarket, we buy different cereals. And
Yes.
when the cereal I bring, I always offer the first portion to Krishna. Then
Yeah.
the whole cereal becomes, prasad. So
Yeah,
that's the way I do.
Exactly. We do exactly the same thing. Padma Malini, every time there's a new packet opened, she will take out some and then offer it to Krishna, and then we'll have the rest of it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a nice practice. But that's okay. That's over there at home. But if you're outside, then you have to sometimes eat a snack. Yes, Lila Purushottam Prabhu. You're still muted.
Okay, you can hear now.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Nanda Pranam Prabhuji, sorry, because as you know, because of my ear problem, I can't join regularly.
No problem.
But since you brought the wonderful memories of Mother Klingna, so that reminded me regarding offering. Of course, as everybody knows, her standard, you mentioned it also, was absolutely top. So I learned from her while we were together in Mayapur, long time back, that while you are traveling, especially as you used to travel, so under different circumstances, it's advisable to carry a small twig of tulsi twig, and instead of fresh leaves, we touch it with that and offer it like that before we honor it, also. I mean, that's the best procedure to follow, and that's acceptable according to Mother Klingna. And then the other thing I learned from Mother Klingna was while she was in Ujjain also for a month. Sorry, I'm a bit slow. You have to bear with me.
Don't worry, take your time.
Yeah. So the other thing, regarding prasadam, she used to invite few guests in our apartment there, which of course is not my apartment, it's Guru Maji's apartment. Everything belongs to Guru Maji and then eventually to Radha Madan Mohan, as you know. So when she had said about Bhakti Prem Maharaj and few other guests for prasadam in the apartment, she would not honor the prasad herself. She would read to us while we honor the prasad.
That's amazing.
And then when she honored the prasad, we kept quiet, because prasad seva is a devotional service. She used to emphasize it so strongly on that. So that I thought I just mentioned about that. You probably already know about it, but I thought.
Yes, no. I did know a little bit about it, but yes, first, thank you so much about this idea about keeping a dry twig of tulsi with
small piece,
Small piece, exactly. That would be very nice. And about Mother Klingna, you can see the standard she had, right? That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So Santosh Mataji on the chat is saying, why is it that Om Tat Sat is not said so often? So yeah, as I mentioned, Santosh Mataji, yes, it is nothing wrong with Om Tat Sat, but because we know that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra includes everything that we have discussed today in Om Tat Sat, so we don't particularly sort of have to say that. But if you do say it, there is nothing wrong with it, as Prabhupada often did.
Right.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And one thing may I add about the if you're out and about and you can't can't bless the food at home or can't eat it as prasad, in our Bhakti Vriksha class we were taught to say Jai Sri Vishnu 3 times.
Yes.
And that purifies the food before you can eat it. It becomes prasad in that way. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, so some devotees say Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu 3 times. Someone will just chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It's all the same as long as we are offering it to the Lord. That's very nice. And then Nitai Mata is saying that yes, actually Guru Maharaj, Jai Pataka Maharaj does use Om Tat Sat. Yeah, that's very nice. So it's like I said, it's not that we don't use it, we do use it. Mostly people, focus on the Maha Mantra, so that's okay. So you do or you don't.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I just mentioned something else also that you explained very nicely. You didn't read that bit.
Okay, I'm going to go down. Okay.
No, in the same message, I said you explained very nicely.
Oh, yeah. That's glorification for me, which I don't need to read. Thank you so much. If so many people glorify me, I'll have a very big ego. That's not good for me.
Om Tat Sat and connection with the Sambandha, the Bhojan, it's very nice. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Nitai Mata. Thank you.
And Prabhuji, sorry, when you hear the chant, the mantra going, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari is in it, so
yes,
it's
right.
to do with Krishna.
Yes.
So why isn't it popular?
So like I say, Mataji, for us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to us that in the age of Kali, the most powerful mantra is the Hare Krishna mantra.
Yeah.
So this is the reason. We don't want to, every breath, we don't want to miss chanting the names of Lord as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted us to.
Hare Krishna.
Ajay Mukund Prabhu is saying, in one respect, Om Tat Sat is analogous to adding a tulsi to sacrifice so that the Lord will, yes, Ajay Mukund, that's a good point. Ajay Mukund Prabhu is making a point that, like if you're out there, you don't have a tulsi twig, you don't have anything else, then as I think Sridhar Maharaj explained, that this Om Tat Sat makes our activity perfect and successful. So that is also right. So yes, there are many, many uses. Thank you so much, everybody, for your contribution.
Thank you, Mukunda Hari Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So please be safe, take care of yourself.
Krishna Kripa Sindhubhya Vacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava.